This is Cove, written by Kris Staub, who later became the creator of Local 58. From the Net Nostalgia Forum, Television, Local. Sky Shale 033, Subject, Cande Cove Local Kids Show. Does anyone ever remember this kids show? It was called Cande Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 71 or 72. I live in Ironton at the time. I don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on a weird time, like 4 in the afternoon. Mike Painter 65. Seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was 9 years old in 72. Cande Cove. Was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. Sky Shale. Yes! Okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built from parts of other dolls, really low budget. His head was on an old porcelain baby doll. Looked like an antique that didn't belong on the body. I don't remember what station it was. I think it was WTSF, though? Jaren 2005. Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Sky Shale. I think Cande Cove ran for only a couple of months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was Channel 58, whatever station that was. My mother would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Cande Cove. It was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates, and the pirate ship was called the Laughingstock, and Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got scared too easily. I think there was Callio music constantly playing. Don't remember the girl's name. Janice Shade something? I think it was Janice. Sky Shale. Thank you, Jaren. Memories are flooding back when you're mentioning the Laughingstock in Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a wooden smiling face with the lower jaw submerged. Looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had that awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the wooden plastic model to the foam puppet version of that head that talked. Mike Painter 65. I remember now. Do you remember this part, Sky Shale? You have to go inside. Sky Shale. I had a show reading that. Yeah, I remember. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go in. Like a cave or a dark room where there's treasure. And the camera would push in on Laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. With his 2 eyes askew and that floppy foam jaw and that fishing line that opened and closed it. It just looked cheap and awful. Do you guys remember the villain? He had a face that was just a handlebar mustache above a really tall, narrow teeth. Kevin Hart. Oh, like the short-ass comedian? I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when the show was on. Nightmare fuel. Jaren. That wasn't the villain, the puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick, Horace the Horrible. He had a monocle too, but it was on top of the mustache. I used to think that meant he had only one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette. The Skin Taker, I think. Can't believe what they let us watch back then. Kevin. Oh, Jesus H. Christ, the Skin Taker. What kind of kids show are we watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Taker showed up. Just descends out of nowhere on his strings. A dirty skeleton wearing that brown top hat and cape, and his glass eyes that were too big for his skull. Christ almighty. Sky Shale. Wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? Like, was that supposed to be children's skin? Mike Painter. Yeah, I think so. Remember his mouth didn't open and close. His jaw just slid back and forth. I remember that little girl saying, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And the Skin Taker didn't look at the girl, but he looked at the camera and said, "To grind your skin." Sky Shale. I am so relieved that other people remember that terrible show. I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream I had, where the opening jingle ended and the show faded from black, and all the characters were there, but the camera was just cutting to each of their faces, and they were just screaming, and the puppets and marionettes were flailing spastically. that's just all screaming. The girl was just moaning and crying like she'd been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet to bed when I had it. Kevin, I don't think that was a dream. I remember that. I think it was an episode. Sky Shell. No, that's not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally just standing in place crying and screaming for the whole show. Kevin, maybe I'm manufacturing the memory because you said that, but I swear to God I remember seeing what you described. They just screamed. Jaren, oh God, yes, the little girl, Janice. I remember seeing her shake, and the skin taker screaming through his gnashing teeth, his jaw careening so wildly I thought it would have come off as wire hinges. I turned it off, and it was the last time I watched it. I ran to tell my brother about it, and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. Mike Painter. I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the 70s, when I was 8 or 9, if she remembered a kids show called Cove. She said she was surprised that I could remember that, and I asked why. She said, because I used to think it was so strange that she said, I'm going to watch Cove now, Mom. And then you would tune the TV to the static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show. So yeah, at least I know where the number 58 came from, Channel 58, because that's Local 58 now. So Kris Staub carried that to the Local 58 series. And I've recorded this near the end of September, so I'm wondering if he has said something new or has worked something for Halloween for Local 58. It'll be nice to see.